Why don't people heal? Now, that is a great question. Now, the reasons can absolutely be endless. And I'm sure if this is a challenge that you've been struggling with, you've probably explored quite a few avenues. But now it begs the question, have you looked at the possibility of psychosomatic challenges being behind a healing journey that feels like it's never ending? Hi, and welcome here to today's talk. I am so excited to have you here with me. Thank you for your love, your time, and your energy. And also, just for those of you who are new, a warm welcome. My name is Evette Rose, and I am best well known for having written this big book called Metaphysical Anatomy of 679 Medical Ailments and Psychosomatic Stress of that for Adults. And I'm so excited to be diving into this topic. This is going to be really super great because today's talk is actually about this big book and also why people don't heal? Now, that's a really great question. Now, quickly before we dive into that, I also invite you to please join me on my intuitive body workshop. You're going to love it so much. It's a workshop that's also designed around this book that helps you to learn and understand how to read psychosomatic messages in the body, what certain pain points mean, what pain means, what does it mean if you have pain combined with an ailment. Goodness, the list is endless, but you're going to learn how to be intuitive. You're going to learn how to do remote viewings, how to do intuitive body readings. You're going to learn so much about the body. You're going to walk away with a wealth of knowledge, and it's just one day, but it is so much fun. You're going to absolutely love it. And then also we have our weekly master classes every Wednesday. It's fast track master classes. So it's very super short, fast master classes where we don't really focus on questions, but rather more on looking at how I can support you best dealing with certain life challenges in life as well. So that's also something to be looking out for. It is a lot of fun and it's free. And you can find it at evetterose.com. Now, let's dive into this topic because we're going to be looking at why do people struggle to heal? But we're going to be looking at this from both an MAT and psychosomatic perspective because we all know that emotional stress, it plays a very crucial role. Now, it's not just about what we eat or our environment. It's also how we react to it that affects our psychological well-being. And this, in turn, can impact our health. For example, have you ever had a headache while feeling, for example, very stressed or very overwhelmed? You see, your body communicates discomfort and stress through these physical sensations. And the body also has its thresholds, just like nature, right? So when it exceeds these thresholds, it can lead to pain and discomfort. So psychosomatic patterns, as now we explored, for example, in this big book like Metaphysical Anatomy. This is where we reveal how the body communicates these thresholds. So when negative emotions and stress disrupt the body's balance, it's because they push these thresholds too far. However, our fast-paced life often now distracts us from these signals. So our focus tends to be where? Elsewhere. Everywhere but with the body. It's on work, responsibilities, maybe external pressures. So when this happens, we fail to value our health and our mental well-being as we actually should. So our bodies now speak to us through discomfort and pain, and we don't value these signals. We don't focus on them. So this fast-paced life, this can now put us in what I would call autopilot mode. And I've been there on a lot of times, even now, sometimes I find myself in autopilot mode, right? And this is where we neglect these messages because it's not on our radar. Valuing our health and our mental well-being is not a priority. Now, living in this survival mode triggers the reptilian brain, which is now rooted in a fear-based survival response. And in this state, we often miss the beauty and the positive aspects of life. Right? We become biologically wired for fear, and this now can lead us to more stress and more health problems. So balancing the reptilian mind with the frontal cortex, right? This is our frontal decision-making part. This can be challenging, Really, to get these two to do the salsa, to do the tango and not clash into each other. That's a challenge because our limbic system, including the amygdala and the hippocampus, the limbic system and hippocampus is part of the same family, same structure. And this adds emotional complexity now. And then the prefrontal cortex, it helps us to think logically. But this also sometimes becomes a little bit exasperated and impaired when we are in a great deal of distress, as you probably have known. You can't think clearly when you are stressed. So our brains can sometimes act really impulsively like a 13-year-old, which complicates our ability to manage stress and emotional well-being effectively. Because when we come from this knee-jerk reaction from a reptilian mind perspective, meaning an instinctive responses, it actually has the maturity of a 13-year-old. That's why some people can be quite immature, especially if they live and react a lot from survival responses rather than emotional intelligence. That's something to take note of. Now, returning to our discussion, when your focus remains on various life issues and worries, now you're not going to prioritize addressing problems in your body, right? We're so focused on trying to deal with just putting it out immediately. We don't look at how do we put it out permanently. You see, that's the self-sabotage. That's the hidden benefits, the coping mechanisms that now comes in. So you might sense discomfort or maybe anger, or that's no prompting you to take action. But we don't listen. So closely to these pain signals is now resulting in inappropriate solutions, right? So when we start to look closely more at it, we add inappropriate solutions. So we sometimes rely too heavily on external advice when addressing our problems while we're maybe consulting experts, or of course, this can be beneficial, but we sometimes neglect our body's initial warnings. And as a result, we reach a point where traditional healing methods they can't even touch you anymore. There's so much that needs to be dewired and untangled. Now, this is when the body shifts into survival mode, adapting to the problem rather than resolving it. So it develops coping strategies to provide that temporary relief that we all are looking for. Now, coping mechanisms like maybe overeating, such as alcohol abuse, and other forms of self-soothing, this helps us to only momentarily escape the real problem. And now, the body actually learns to detour around problems instead of fixing them at the source. And this is similar to, for example, driving around a hole in the road instead of just filling the hole and then there's no more problem. You don't have to take the detour anymore. You can just go straight. There's no more disruptions. Now, this is a common reason why healing becomes elusive. Another key factor in healing is the need to pause. Pause and observe. Understanding how we relate to our environment and what's happening in our bodies. Because emotions act almost like a GPS. It's guiding your attention to what we like and dislike, and what we need to focus on, and what we maybe need to work on, and maybe what we need to let go of. But unfortunately, many of us dislike negative emotions. And what happens? We avoid feeling them, which now wires our mind to suppress this discomfort. And this in turn now leads to automatic reliance on coping mechanisms that we face when we face at least our emotional challenges. So fear of failure, fear of success, low self-esteem, these are all additional reasons why healing eludes some people. And one significant realization on my healing journey was acknowledging that I had identified myself as a victim for far too long. While it's essential, I understand, to recognize and to validate pain, but dwelling in being a victim too long can become an identity. Now, in my personal experience, I discovered that I had to let go of the blame of the past to move forward. A time came in my life where my past no longer defined me, and holding on to old blame, it actually prevented my growth. It was crucial for me, right? To understand that my father couldn't be the person that I needed him to be, because it was my dysfunctional relationship with him that contributed to a lot of hiccups that I had in my life later on, to put it politely. And I was angry at myself for constantly waiting for him to change. I was enraged. Now, this waiting for him, right? This helped me back from embracing my full potential and recognizing my strengths and my talents. My focus wasn't there, so I could never really fully develop them. And it's really important to reach a point of acceptance and understanding and allowing yourself to let go of the anger and move towards healing. Now, it's easier said than done. I've been there. I get it. You don't have to tell me that. But for me, what the breaking point was that I would, and this is how I remember the day when it happened. I called it, it was a soul-breaking experience where, you've held on to something for so long and so hard that it starts to just, it's ripping you apart inside. And I felt that. I was so depressed. I was so sad. And I remember I had a complete breakdown, and I sobbed and I cried, and I realized and I felt in myself, what in God's name am I doing? Why am I suffering so much waiting for this man to wake up with a halo over his head and have this realization what he did in the past was wrong? I was waiting for an apology. I was waiting for him to give me the fatherly love and attention that I needed, but he was never going to stand up and do that because he couldn't. It's not that he didn't want to. He couldn't. He didn't have a reference for it. Now, some of you who don't know or recognize my past very well, he was a medically diagnosed sociopath. And these people are not easy to live with. They think differently, they feel differently. They can throw you for an emotional loop in a conversation because they are so incredibly unrelatable. And when you try to relate to them, your brain feels like it's meshed. It was a tough journey. And my attachment to the idea of needing him to be something, and he didn't have that psychological capacity to become that. It destroyed me. It hindered my healing. It hindered me from really truly stepping onto my greatness and into my power. And when I finally confronted this and I accepted my father as he was, not the past, not what he did, I accepted the fact, I embraced it, that he couldn't change. And it was not a reflection of what I was worthy of. That was a very big breakthrough for me, because embracing that, it didn't mean accepting everything that he did to me, like I said, but it meant recognizing that he couldn't change. And I had to detach myself because his life choices, it was beyond my control. And I didn't want to live the kind of life that he created for himself. So instead of viewing my dad's inability to provide the love that I craved for as a reflection of my self-worth, what I thought at the past, I wrongly blamed myself. So I started looking for validation and attention and acknowledgement from him. However, he couldn't fulfill those expectations because he just never experienced that level of love himself. So the more I demanded, the more he reacted actually with abuse, because it's almost like I was pushing him into a higher frequency of love that he couldn't relate to. And this fear made him feel inadequate. It made him feel very awkward. And it led him to feeling almost like he's feeling attacked. And so what did he do subconsciously? He attacked the source of his fear, which in this case was me. I was the one provoking that. And this was his survival response, right? That was his emotional survival response. So this realization was a huge turning point in my healing journey. And it set me free because I realized that, sometimes we cling to something that we value greatly, but we hold on to it from a place of pain, and the emotional stress can block healing. So our mindset and our self-identification, it plays a massive role in healing. And it also affects every aspect of our lives and who we attract. So one question that I had to ask myself which we will explore in the upcoming healing meditation, was about a challenge or a problem in my life that refused to shift. Now, it could be emotional or physical, but I had to identify the bodily reaction that was connected to this problem. Because as you consider your problems and challenges, it also impacts your body. Ask yourself, what in your life will change that you are not ready to change if you resolve or heal a pressing issue in your life that you have right now? What in your life will change? I'll ask it again. What in your life will change that you are not ready to change if you resolve or heal a pressing issue in your life that you have right now? And the thing is here's the catch. It's very important not to overthink this. It's more important to let your initial, gut response, just that initial reaction to it, that is normally your best guided answer. Because when I use myself as an example, when I ask myself that question, because for me personally, it was anger that I had towards my dad. So when I ask myself, what in my life will change that I'm not ready to change? If I really had to stop blaming him and stop hating him for everything, the answer was that I would actually be free to step into my power. And that was my answer. And I realized that I had a debilitating fear of stepping into my power because I didn't believe in myself. So I kind of held on to this anger because it kept me safe from stepping into my power and realizing, but I don't have to be the victim all the time, because being a victim became my identity. And when we do things that starts to shake and rattle our identities, it can shake people with fear to their core. And that happened to me as well. So I had to really look deep within and be very honest with myself, because I didn't believe in my strengths or in my capacities. So deep down, like I said, I was using this anger, right? That anger towards my dad was my distraction to not step into my greatness. So that question that I asked you earlier, when I said, what in your life will change that you're not ready to change if you healed a certain problem in your life? So that answer that you got from there, where is that fear or where is that stress in your body? Where do you feel the fear of the stress of that in your body? Another great way of asking this is, for example, where do you automatically just feel your awareness is drawn to when you connect to that? And now, I would love to start this healing meditation with you now that we have this answer or this response. And when you are ready, you can sit up or you can lie down, whatever you feel most comfortable with. And now, let's start by just taking a nice deep breath. And now, I invite you to find yourself in an open space. And in that open space, imagine that there's a waterfall. Finding yourself feeling drawn, walking towards that waterfall. Standing underneath it and allowing that warm water, that energy healing light to flow through you and out of you. Flowing through you, releasing all that stress. Releasing responsibilities or overwhelm that you might have. Fatigue, exhaustion, anxiety, discomfort. Feel how that waterfall is just flowing through you and out of you. And now, allowing that light to continue to flow. I invite you now to allow this warm energy healing light to continue to flow. Just let it flow. Imagine like it's just this continuous flow, flowing, flowing, flowing. And now at the same time, bring your focus and awareness to this answer that you received to the question, what in your life will change that you are not ready to change if you shifted a certain pressing issue in your life that you have right now? So I'll use myself as an example. What in my life will change that I'm not ready to change if I shifted the old anger that I had towards my father? My answer would be, I would be free to be me. And I didn't know what that looked like. So that was my fear. And I felt that fear, my heart, I feel my heart going like tension. So that's where I felt it in the past. So now my question to you is, what in your life will change that you're not ready to change if you shifted that certain challenge? What is that challenge? And where in your body do you feel the reaction of it? Where do you feel the presence of it? You might not have a reaction, but you might feel your awareness just feels drawn to a certain area in your body. I'm going to give you a few seconds now to connect to that. And when you are ready, let's take this one step further. Let's get another message, because there is another message connected to this. I'll show you how. Now, have your awareness where in your body you felt that? Where was that reaction in the body? Now have a beautiful ball of light above your head. Dropping that ball of light down, 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 down into your body. And this ball of light is like a magnifier. It brings voice, it brings light, it brings clarity to wherever you bring it to. Now let that ball of light come to that area in your body where you felt that reaction. Let it come to rest there. And here's the trick. Here's how to do it very accurately. The moment the ball of light reaches that area, like for example, for me, it would be in my heart. The moment the ball comes into my heart, just 1, 2, 3. Give yourself a countdown. 1, 2, 3, and boom. What's the answer? It has to be very fast. You should not have time to think about it, because then you will sabotage it. So let the ball now drop down, 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 down into that area. Give yourself a countdown of 3. What is the message? Because there is another message. I'm going to give you a minute now to do that. And now that you have your extra answer, combine that with the fear that you had, that your initial reaction to that question, what in your life will change that you're not ready to change if you shifted this problem today. If you combine that reaction with this message that you just received, now you might get a much deeper understanding behind why you feel the way that you do. And perhaps you're self-sabotaged as well. And now, allowing that beautiful healing light to continue to flow, that energy, healing, warm light. Allow it to flow through these parts of your body and also the area where you felt that message, resolving and dissolving the stress. Healing and healing and healing, resolving and dissolving, resolving and dissolving. Going, 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 going. Allow it to flow through you and out of you. Feel how it's just releasing, dropping down, 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 into the earth. Down, 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 down. Feeling your body expanding, becoming lighter and more relaxed. Releasing, healing, and relaxing. And I'm going to affirm a few positive affirmations here with you as well. And all that you have to do is listen to my voice. I call my power back from my past. I call my power back from people who held me back. I reclaim my ability to heal with ease and with grace. I reclaim my true authentic identity, which is free from being a victim. Who I am is so much bigger and greater than that. I reclaim my happiness. I reclaim my inner peace. I reclaim my boundaries and self-love. I reclaim my self-respect. We go and taking a nice deep breath. Very good. And I invite you now to bring your full focus and awareness to the bottom of your feet. Your full focus and awareness is at the bottom of your feet. And now, allowing yourself to feel the surface beneath your body. Slowly coming back into the here and now. And welcome back. Allowing this healing, this understanding to continue to integrate and heal throughout your day and night. And know that you are exactly where you need to be in your life. And I'm very proud of you. And I love you guys. And thank you for being here with me. And until next time, bye.
So guys, there you have it. Also remember to subscribe to my channel, stay up to date. And also I have a free Mac membership website where we have so many courses up there. There's meditations, there's workshops, whatever you need, it's there. There's so many wonderful webinar replays as well that you can benefit from and also to observe and to learn from. Guys, also remember that I have written 18 books. 18, 1-8. And one of many among them are Metaphysical Anatomy and Psychosomatics for Children. So this one is a Psychosomatics for adults. This one is a Psychosomatics for kids. So these books are super popular. People love it. If you want to learn more about how your body works, understanding messages behind it, maybe you have that gnawing pain or maybe an ailment that's surfacing and you want to understand what is it that your body is trying to tell you. Guys, these books are going to be absolutely invaluable to you. You can find it at evettebooks.com, where you will also find all my other 18 books. And guys, also remember to keep asking all these great questions. I love to answer your questions at Ask Evette, where we discuss, life conundrums and, life challenges challenges and just answer questions perhaps where you feel, quite stuck in your life. I would love to share my perspective with this and to help you to resolve perhaps certain pain points that you might be having in your life as well. So guys, remember to stay in touch. There's so many great things that's happening. And also something really awesome is that this book is already also in video format. So imagine 679 medical elements in video format, and with meditations and healing courses, workshops, masterclasses, everything behind that in our platinum membership site. So guys, remember to check that out. There is so many great things happening there. So see you there.